Joining us is Dr. Ahmed Banafa, professor of general engineering at San Jose State University, a distinguished expert in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and emerging technologies. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, Catherine. How are you?
Great. I would want to, for a first question, if you could briefly explain what this dispute is exactly, because we're talking on one end, the U.S. Department of Defense, and then on the other, this company, Anthropic. So what is this about?
Well, here's what happened. There is a contract between the Department of Defense or Department of War now and Anthropic for $200 million so they can use their model, which is Claude. And Claude itself is one of the best in the market when it comes to something called safety and alignment, meaning they understand the customer better and there is less hallucination, means less errors. So this contract between the Department of Defense and Anthropic has some kind of, legal issues. What I'm talking about is the company, and I'm going to go back one step. The company Anthropic started by engineers that left and the OpenAI and started Anthropic in 2021 because they want to have a company that has transparency, accountability, and ethical boundaries. So
Yes.
basically, they are following the mission of the company. So there are two points that is really the source of all this issue between the company and the Department of Defense. The first one is part of the legal agreement between them. The company insisted on that their system, their AI model cannot be used for mass surveillance of U.S. citizens, basically going through their data if it's collected by other companies and now it need to be processed. Number two is the model cannot be used for the autonomous lethal weapons that can make decision by itself. They say, we don't know if they make a mistake, who's responsible for that?
I see. So very interesting, those two prongs. And so in terms of the technology, what exactly is Anthropic's AI system? What can it do? And how could this be used in military operations?
That's a good question. As a system by itself, it's not a standalone. Basically, what happened, the information will be gathered by Palantir, for example, another company, another big company. And this company will feed it into the system of Anthropic, Claude, and it's going to process it. For example, just to be specific about it, we're talking about massive amount of text, images, data, picture, satellite picture movement of the enemy, hardware. All of these kind of data will be processed and they will be given to the top management or the top, generals to make a decision about what's going to be next. And this is how the strength of the model itself.
I see. Thanks for explaining for our listeners here. One issue in this dispute, from what I understand, involves the limits on how AI can be used. So Anthropic has said that it does not want its technology to be used for things like mass surveillance, as you said, or the fully autonomous weapons. But what kind of rules is the company trying to put in place for the use of its AI? So obviously it doesn't want, it wants to limit the scope, I guess, of the usage of a system, correct?
That is correct. And this can be done. It's not like people think about it. Okay, so if I buy the software, download it on my computers in the Department of Defense, the company cannot do anything about it. The AI models are different. They still have to go through the servers of the company. So, and that's how they have control on the prompt. For example, if somebody tried to gather the information of thousands of citizens, and they start asking questions, and you can identify if this is civilian or this is military or this is the enemy, and then the system will stop them. This is one thing. Or somebody say, I would like you to build this system or this weapon, and this weapon can be completely autonomous. We would like to test the different scenarios and different design. The system will block that. So it's going to say this is unethical. They're going they're using something called ethical guide rails. And this is where the Department of Defense is really upset about it.
I see. So obviously, you've been mentioning the Defense Department, and the Pentagon has also argued that the military should be able to use AI for quote unquote any lawful purpose. So from the government's perspective, on the other hand, why might those limits be seen as an issue, as a problem?
Well, there's difference between lawful and ethical. When we talk about lawful, many things are lawful, but I'm not going to do something, even if it's okay, it's lawful, because it's unethical for me, for my beliefs. And that's
Yes.
where the gap here between the two.
Ah,
So, and the company would like to set up the stage for other companies, so they can, stop the any kind of abuse of the power of artificial intelligence. Now, I'll give you a simple example, Catherine.
okay.
They ran all the models, ChatGPT, the enterprise level,
Uh-huh.
or the one from Anthropic, about, okay, so we would like to go to a war and would like to solve this war very quickly so we can win. Most of them, about 80% of the models that in the market now, they suggest nuclear bombs. So,
Mm,
so why you want to give an autonomous decision to a model that will suggest for you to go and bomb a different area with a nuclear bomb? This is
right.
where the concern.
I see. I can definitely see why people and the company might be concerned. I do want to shift a little and talk about terms like human on the loop, human out of the loop, things like that. So, what exactly do these terms or concepts mean? And if you could make it as easy for us to digest, we would greatly appreciate it.
Sure. When you have human on the loop, that's mean the final decision, the final move decision, without coming to you and telling you that, okay, can I do this or not?
Ah, interesting. So I know this is going to be a tough one, but I'm going to put you on the spot, Dr. Banafa. So who do you think should have the final say when it comes to how AI is used in the military? The government versus maybe a company that has built that technology. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think should be combination between the
Okay.
government and between the companies. The companies, they can say no. Like what happened with the case of Anthropic. What happened? They canceled the contract. They gave the Department of Defense 6 months to phase it out,
Mm,
and now OpenAI jumped, into the story, and then they offer their own system. But
right.
there is another interesting fact here, Catherine. Number one is the operation we heard about it in January, about the capture of the president of Venezuela. The
Yes.
Anthropic model, AI model, used in that operation. The
Ah.
operation that used to kill the head of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, is
Mm-hmm.
actually the data analyzed by using the Anthropic AI closed system. So it's
Ah.
still in use. And this is prime to example of how to use it in war. So private companies, they can have their limitations. The government, they
Mm.
can have their own request, and if they match, they can have a deal. If not, they can go and find another company.
I see. And so, as we wrap up today's discussion, how significant do you think AI will go in its role in the future of military strategy? As you already said, it's already being used, but do you think that it's just going to be even deeper, that there's going to be more of AI used in warfare?
Absolutely. I see that the AI will be used for intelligent analysis,
Mm.
can be used for autonomous systems, cybersecurity operation,
Mm-hmm.
and also the decision-making support. It's going to be augmented to the soldiers, to the generals, so they can have the decision quickly. Because when you're talking about a battlefield, you're
Mm.
talking about data coming from everywhere. And
Right.
if you have analysts sitting there, a human analyst, it's going to take a while for them to get to that decision. But if you have
Mm.
the AI, you can have all kind of scenarios
Right.
with the consequences for each one of the scenarios, quickly. Just a simple example. Let's say that somebody sent 200 of drones,
Mm.
swarms of drones. You're collecting information about it. You want to make a decision where you're going to direct them. You're going to make a decision about which one going to hit, which one not going to hit. This is cannot
Ah.
be done by human. This is
Right.
had AI has to be involved in making the decision, having the best scenario.
I see. Well, thank you so much for shedding your expertise and, of course, giving us your opinions as well on this very hot topic. Wishing you the very best. Thank you, Dr. Banafa.
Thank you, Catherine.